Alright guys, and welcome to the latest update for the Reawakening Red Star save. It is the end of the season. We're not going to be going over any games really. This is going to be more of a retrospective, a look back on the season that's just happened. It is the end of the 4th season. We're just about to go into the 5th. We've had a really good year, so we're going to have a bit of a look back, see what we've done really well, what we could have done better, and where we might be going forward. So, yeah, let's get on with it, shall we? So as you can see from the homepage, I guess, where you get the overview of the information, recent fixtures and form, we've been winning games. We've got a few friendlies on the cards, but I think we might cancel those and arrange our own. But looking at the league table, as you can see, we won 34, we drew 3, and we lost 0. We had a plus 110 goal difference. Obviously completely dominated the league. We'd already won the league by the time we played the first game in the second phase of the league against Partizan. So, yeah, not a bad year. All in all, top goal scorer was Velicic, highest average rating, Nikolic. Actually, it's a bit surprising with that. He's a solid player without excelling in any position, really. We play him as a roaming playmaker in the centre of midfield, and he's a solid all-round player, but obviously he just played very, very well this year. Got himself 13 assists and 5 goals in all competitions, a 7.9 rating overall. Best player at the club, apparently. Most assists, Radonjic and Adzic. The impressive thing about Radonjic is he doesn't really play every game. He's played quite a few games in the Superliga. He's mostly there as a backup. But when he does play, he gets himself a lot of assists, so fair play to him. Done really well. He's a fantastic backup player. 25, so at his peak, he's really solid. He's 6'1", he's quick, he's strong, he's a decent finisher, he can dribble, and he's happy being a backup player. So he's the perfect kind of player that we need at the club right now. And Adzic as well. Goes without saying, probably our most important player at the minute anyway. Again, big, strong, quick, decent finisher, good dribbler. Got himself 15 assists and 27 goals over the year. Not a bad return. 7.74 in all competitions. Played pretty well in the Super League. Got 11 goals in 18, got 8 assists. In the Champions League, though, 12 goals in 16 appearances, 7.69 average rating. Fantastic player. 22, I think he's hit his peak. I don't think he's going to improve any, if at all. And if he is going to improve, it's not going to be by much. But yeah, fantastic player. One of our higher earners and certainly earns his wage. Then we've got Miskovic and yellow cards. Only 2 red cards this year. Only 2 red cards from 2 of our more experienced players. A little bit disappointing, but they didn't end up costing us games. So that's the most important thing. As you can see from the finances, overall balance 83 million, P&L 64 million profit. Obviously the 45 million that we made from the 2 strikers we sold, Stuperovic and Jimenez. I think they were. I think that's his name. He's a new gen. But Stuperovic and Jimenez, got 45 million in for those 2 in the January transfer window. So that's obviously helped our overall balance, and that's why we have a 30 million transfer budget as well. So yes, should we dip our toes in the transfer market? We've got a little bit of money to spend at least. So moving over to the competitions tab, as you can see, bossed the league. David Nyarko, highest average rating for us in the league. Fantastic left back. I think we're really going to be fending off some interest from him this year. He's still only 19 years old and just getting better and better and better. Fantastic left back. We picked him up for £105,000 from Berwick Chelsea, and he's been nothing short of spectacular since he's come. And our top goal scorer in the league is Patane. First year at the club. Got himself 14 goals in 17 appearances in the league. 23 and 21 starts in all competitions. I thought this year would be him settling down and getting used to the league and the competitions and the team. And he's taken to it like a duck to water. Played really well. So there are 2 best performers in the league. We were only expected to reach the playoffs in the Champions League. So we weren't even expected to reach the group stages. We got knocked out by Chelsea in the quarterfinals, who are in the final against Barcelona. So at least we got knocked out by a team that's made it to the final. We'll keep an eye on the result of that. Best performer in the Champions League, Velicic, 13 goals in 15 appearances. Not a bad return in Europe. My issue with Velicic is he's a fantastic player. He's got fantastic attributes. His goal returns, 31 in 43 games over the season, and a 7.4 average rating is really good. The issue that we have with him is he does miss a lot of chances. He'll be in one-on-one situations and put him wide. That's why we've taught him to place his shots. Got good technique, decent first touch, good finishing composure off the ball. He should be scoring more consistently, I think. That being said, he's got 3 and 4. So you can't really complain at that kind of return. Gajic got 8 assists there as well. Really good player, Gajic. He came in, we signed him for 3.4 million at the start of the season. Played really, really well. The issue that we've got is he missed a big chunk of the middle of the season with injury. At which point, Branislav Miskovic has kind of taken his spot. So we've got Miskovic, a homegrown player, Serbian. Obviously, Gajic is Serbian as well. But we've got Miskovic, who's progressing at an alarming rate, playing really well, 7.85. He's kind of taken his spot, and Gajic is one of our higher earners. He's on 15 grand a week. So I'm wondering whether we move him on at the end of the season. It's a shame too, because he's 25. He's at the peak. He's at the peak of his powers. He's the first choice Serbian right back. But I think Miskovic going forward will eclipse him. It'll be better than him eventually. And like I say, he's one of our higher earners. He's not worth having on the bench at that. That and throw into the mix that we've also got Nikola Jovanovic, who's a really good 19-year-old right back down in our under-19s team. If we give him more game time, no doubt he's going to improve as well. So I think Gajic is one of the players that's going to leave at the end of this season. Hopefully we can get back what we paid for him. It's just a case of, I just want to... If they're a higher earner, they need to be a starting player, or at least an incredible shooter, and he's neither of those at the minute. So yeah, we may look to move him on at the end of the season. And we won the cup as well. Final, obviously, Adzic, 8.97, fantastic performance. 3 assists from Terzic, Veljic and Jeremic with 5 goals in the competition. In the final, we won 5-0. It was pretty routine, to be honest. Hat-trick from Adzic, again proving that he's one of our most important players. And Veljic actually had a pretty good game. He got himself 2 goals in the final. So his recent form, Veljic, is actually pretty good when you look at his goals scored recently. He's a 1 in 2 kind of goal scorer. I can bank on him scoring every other game. The issue is, I wouldn't mind so much if he wasn't getting in as many goal scoring positions as he was. I think he just needs to be a bit more clinical. He's still very young. He's still only 20 years old, so he can still improve, and he will hopefully get a bit more consistent as we go forward. So we had a little look at the general results over the year just then, but we'll have a bit more of an in-depth look in the fixtures this year. As you can see, there's a lot of green dots. Tell you what, we'll hide the friendlies. A lot of green dots there. 2 losses came in the Champions League. 3 losses, sorry. 4-0 away against Chelsea. 3-2 away against Marseille. And the 2-0 loss, which was the final group game in Group A against Villarreal when we'd already won the group. So I think maybe my players switched off a little bit there. But yeah, it's been a fantastic season. If we just go from the results. So Marseille, Chelsea and Villarreal, the only people to beat us. Bruges, Partizan, Radnitsky, Novi Sad, Chelsea and Partizan again. Only teams to hold us to draws. And, 0-0s. They stifled our attack without really offering anything themselves. I've been seeing it a lot this year, that a lot of teams domestically will line up with 8 defenders. Like, no word of a lie. 8 people at the back. And then they'll have a striker, maybe a midfielder. A lot of people just trying to stifle us. Because, as you can see, 10-0, 9-0, 8-0, 7-1, 6-0. Goal scoring has not been an issue for us. We have scored an alarming amount of goals. There's only a small amount of games where we've scored less than 3 goals. Great performance. The tactic does lend itself to being more attacking. Obviously, we've accumulated a lot of strikers over the years. So the best way to get all those players in is play as a 4-3-3. We use the 2 false 9s that do drop deep and act as part of the midfield when we don't have the ball and in the build-up play. And obviously we have the advance forward pushing the back line and trying to get in behind, which is why Veljic tends to get so many goal-scoring opportunities, because he is that guy on the shoulder of the last man as these guys are dropping deep, trying to find space and balls through, as well as the 2 playmakers as well. Well, the 3 playmakers, I guess, but the 2 playmakers sitting higher. The advanced playmaker and the roaming playmaker, they're also looking to find space and play balls through. our attacking fluidity is really good this year. So yeah, score a lot of goals, get a lot of assists. As you can see from the fullbacks as well, 13 assists for Miskovic, 12 assists for Nyarko, 13 for Gajic, 10 for Terzic. Our fullbacks basically spend most of the game up around the front line, just whipping crosses in. So plenty of assists from them, plenty of assists from our false nines, because they do get down the line, cut balls back in as well. So we'll always have players attacking the box. Really happy with this tactic. There's a couple of little tweaks that I want to try for next year that might make us a bit more defensively solid. What I'm finding at the minute is our advanced playmaker, so our advanced playmaker and our roaming playmaker are the ones that are closing down the fullbacks if they're attacking. So they're closing down the fullbacks, which does leave generally a 3-on-2 situation up front. So we can get them on the quick break if we win the ball back. But it is pulling our central midfielders out of position, which is leaving, more often than not, 1 or 2 midfielders to deal with 2 or 3 centre midfielders. So I think what we're going to do next year is set our false nines to mark their fullbacks. So they will track back a bit more like a traditional winger to offer support to the fullbacks. Because at the minute, with having attacking wingbacks, they do get caught out quite a lot. Luckily, we've got really good defenders, and our keeper's very good at coming in, claiming crosses and snuffing out danger. But we do get caught out down the wing. So I think if we have our false nines man-marking the fullbacks, they will track them back more like a traditional winger would, but also be in and around the areas that they need to affect the game when we're in attack as well. In theory, it'll also mean that they're more involved in the build-up play because they're going to be a little bit deeper, in theory. So we'll see how that goes next year. But if things go well next year, when we finish the save, I will be uploading the tactic anyway, because it is this tactic that I'm developing for this team. Maybe if next season we have a really good year, I might upload it then onto the Steam Workshop. We'll see if it works. See if it still works in the update as well, the January update. So we had a little overview of the players and like the assist counts and stuff. But we'll have a bit more in-depth look. Obviously, Maxic, 46 games played. 46 games played for Velic as well. Our 2 highest appearance makers. Ilic actually played a lot of games this year. He's still improving. He's still getting better. We did pay 2.3 million to bring him back from Man City. So more than they paid for him when they took him from us. But he's been really solid. 7.33 for a central midfielder, a deep line playmaker and defend. Generally speaking, I never see amazing performances from those kind of players, but 7.33 over the season. Made 40 appearances. So our 3rd highest appearance maker. Fantastic performances, really good signing. Hopefully, he just keeps getting better and better. He's over the year, his attributes are on the steady increase. If we can get a few of these 14s to 15s and 13s to 14s and stuff, he'll be a really solid all-round midfielder. And the nice thing about it as well is he can play any of the midfield roles that we use. So he can play advanced playmaker, roaming playmaker, can play deep line playmaker. He's even got the physicality to do box-to-box. He's not bad at long shots and finishing. Like, he's not dreadful. He's not amazing, but he's not dreadful. Just a solid all-round player. Really happy with him over the year. But Maxic as well. Cracking keeper. He's really come into his own this year. Played 46 games, kept 24 clean sheets. 7.24 rating for a goalkeeper. You don't generally see that high an average rating from goalkeepers, but really high passing success rate as well. So because we do play out from the back, so it's him being decent with his feet is very handy. His passing's only 8. His first touch is only 8. But his kicking's 15, so I don't know how they correlate. I don't know whether kicking is about the distance kicks. I don't know whether that's just about how good they are at kicking the ball far downfield, or whether that rolls into being able to play the ball out from the back as well. I'm not sure. If someone could help me out on that, if somebody knows, just leave it down in the comments. But yeah, a top goal scorer, Velic, 31 goals in 43 games. Again, for a player that I keep criticising and saying he should score more, getting 30 goals in 40 games, that's a hell of a return rate. It's a very good return rate. Then we have Luka Adzic right in behind, as I keep saying, probably our most influential player. 7.74 over the year. Gives himself 27 goals and 15 assists. No mean feat. Then you got Patane coming in behind. 23 goals and 12 assists in only 21 starts. So some of those are coming from the bench. And like I say, it is his first year at the club. So hopefully things are only going to get better with him. We then have Radonjic coming in behind. Probably our fifth choice forward player. 15 assists and 14 goals and 24 starts. fantastic. Fantastic return for a backup player, like I was saying before. We then have Nikola Jeremic, really young, 19-year-old. He's just turned 19. 13 goals and 7 assists in 18 starts. This kid is looking pretty special, actually. Really good physicals, really good mentals, really good technicals. He reminds me a bit of Adzic in how he plays. He's obviously not as tall, so he's not as good in the air. But Adzic doesn't necessarily run and beat people, but he'll play quick passes and beat them with his body movement and get on the end of a lot of 1-2s and finish goals like that. And he does a lot of the similar things. So hopefully we've got another Adzic in the making with him. Then coming up after that, got our goal-scoring midfielder, Zeljko Saranovic. Awesome player. I've highlighted this player many times in the videos in videos in the past. He is going to be next level. 7.92 average rating in the Champions League, 7.82 average rating in the league, 9 goals and 8 assists from midfield, 7.89 rating. He's got an 85% plus pass success rate as well. He's creative. He's got a decent work rate as well for a playmaker. I really like this guy. I think he's going to go far. And then we've got a few more goal-scoring midfielders. We've got Neskovic. Terzic actually chipping in with 5 goals. Nikolic with 5. Matthew Pennington, centre-back. This season's been awesome for Pennington. He's really come out of his shell. It's his 3rd season with us. First year he was here, he played a bit part, to the point where second season, we sent him out on loan. This is second season. It was the second half of the first season we sent him out on loan. Didn't really pull up any trees. I was looking to move him on at the start of the season, maybe send him out on loan again. Nobody wanted to pick him up. And he's played 28 games, played 7.74 average rating. So it's a real coming of age for this guy. 26 now, so this is the kind of time that you do want him to step up and take note. He's still not excelling at centre-back. He's got decent mentals, decent physicals, and his technicals are all right for a centre-back. I just don't think he's ever going to be that elite centre-back that we need at the club, really. Especially when we have players coming through the ranks like Stefan Lonkar, who's just getting better all the time. Fantastic tackling, marking, teamwork. His positioning is getting better, good determination. Fantastic physicals for a guy that's 6'4", with 16 strength. To have 14 acceleration, you can really cover the ground. My only bugbear with him is his bravery, composure, concentration, and decision-making. Now, hopefully that'll improve with time, with him just getting a bit older. Like, if these can get up to kind of 13s, 12s and 13s, I think we've got ourselves a top-class centre-back on our hands there. But he plays really well, 7.58 over the season. He wins 87% of his tackles. So, like I say, he can cover the ground. He's pretty aggressive, and he's great in the tackle. You can't really criticise that. It's just, like I say, these mental attributes here that hold me back on him a little bit. And we've also got Boyanju as well, who we brought in at the start of the season. Again, composure and concentration aren't amazing, but we'll let it slide when he's winning 80% of his tackles. He's not as quick as Lonkar over the ground, so he's more of a... I don't use stopper and cover defenders, but he's definitely the guy that's first into the challenge with Lonkar sweeping up behind. So with his bravery and his concentration on the up, that is always that is how they tend to work together. With 14 tackling, marking and heading, he's got good positioning, and again, really good physicals, just not that quick. Again, I think we've got possibly an elite centre-back in the making there. And with those two working with Yanga and Biwa, who's just a solid all-round centre-back, still, at 32 years old, he's still pretty quick. He's not the best in the air, but his anticipation and bravery kind of allow him to be in the right place at the right time. So we've got a good centre-back core there. We may add another more experienced head if Pennington goes, or we'll see how we go in terms of transfers with that. But yeah, that's in terms of centre backs. We're set going forward. In terms of the assists, though, as you can see, Adzic and Radonjic are topping out on the assists, but then in come the fullbacks. It's got Miskovic, Gajic, Nyarko, Terzic up there with double-figure assists. So you can see how kind of attacking our wing-backs play and how they get up and support the attack. And in terms of average rating, as alluded to before, Nyarko right up there in terms of actual highest average rating. His recent form's very good as well. Shout out to Nikolic. Like I said before, he doesn't excel in anything. He's just very solid. and he's one of our better performers this year. And when he's chipping in with 13 assists and 5 goals, that makes me happy. And you got Saranovic, Miskovic, Terzic. I mean, when you have a look at the actual average ratings, everyone's over a 7, and most of the team are over 7.5. So if you're averaging over a 7.5 rating, you're going to have a very good season. Obviously. So in terms of the players with the most potential, we've already had a look at most of these guys, to be honest. We've got Bojanju and Lonkar, 2 centre-backs coming through very nicely. Nikola Jeremic, the young Serbian attacker. He is supposedly an advanced playmaker. An attacking midfielder, sorry. He's pretty creative, but we are retraining him as a false 9 to play in that false 9 position, and I think he suits it to the ground, as you can see. All the correct attributes are in the correct areas, plus he's got a turn of pace. I think that's going to be his future set pretty much there. So we've got those. Nyarko Patane, Veligic. Still, Veligic, after, 3 years? 2 years as a starter, 4 years in and around the first team, but 2 years as a starter. He scored less goals in the league this year, in more games. He's actually got a lower average rating. But in terms of the performance over the season, this year, 31 in 43. Last year, he got 23 in 40, including sub-appearances. 46 games played this year with 31 goals. So his goal return is better this year. Maybe just in the league, he's not been quite as good. But like I say, we've got quite a lot of strikers, so I don't mind rotating. I don't mind Veligic knocking tons of goals in Europe if it means that someone else just has to do it domestically. But he's still got plenty of space to grow. 3.5-star current ability, potential 5-star player. Hopefully he sees that 5-star. Who else have we got there? We've got Adzic, who's the 4-star player. Maxic and Botic, 2 really good young keepers. I keep raving about Maxic being a solid keeper and possibly going to go and become one of the top keepers in the game. Like I say, he's only 21. Still plenty of space for him to improve. But we do have Botic as well, who's arguably a better shot stopper. Very similar in terms of their goalkeeping attributes. And in terms of playing as a sweeper keeper, which is what we use, he's probably a little bit better. He's quicker off his line. His acceleration's 15. His rushing out's quite good. His one-on-ones are quite good. He's got a good command of the area. And his communication's very good as well. He's not quite as good on the distribution side. He's got his first touch and his passing are pretty poor. His kicking's not as good. And it's really his mental attributes that let him down. So we've got low aggression, anticipation, composure, concentration. They're things that, personally, I really value in a goalkeeper. I think strong mental attributes in a goalkeeper can almost make up for not as impressive goalkeeping attributes. Because if they're in the right place at the right time and they keep a cool head, they're going to be better than a guy that loses his rag and has better reflexes. In my opinion, this is how I feel about having goalkeepers in the game. So, Botic, as good as he is in his goalkeeping attributes, I think he'll never be more than a backup keeper, unless someone comes and spends 30 million on Maxic. But I don't see that happening, to be honest. So, in terms of the plans going forward, I'm not really sure. Obviously, we want to get through the group stage of the Champions League, and if we can get further into the knockout rounds, the knockout stages, that'd be amazing. I'm not entirely sure how we go about doing that, though. When we look at the squad, we've got a ton of potential. We've obviously got a few players that are going to be leaving. So Parolo and Jedinak, they're retiring at the end of the season. We're probably going to let Gajic go, possibly Pennington. So that's really going to we're going to need to replace those players. So maybe an experienced central midfielder, experienced centre-back maybe, possibly a older head up front to help tutor the youngsters that are coming through. So we'll have a look into that. But in terms of actually strengthening the squad, it's tough. We've got a ton of money. We have got a 29 million transfer budget, 75 if we put all of our money into the transfer budget. So we've got tons of money to play with, should we need to. The issue that we've got is we struggle to bring in those kind of players, the players that are going to cost that much money. We can quite easily spend 20, 30 million pound on a player or two. The issue is the 20, 30 million pound players don't particularly want to come and play their domestic football in Serbia. I still think we're going to be a little way, or a few years away from not only attracting those kind of players to come to us, but keeping hold of our players who are good enough to go and you know, mix it in the big leagues. The competition reputation, we are top 20. So we're 20th at the minute. I think it's going to be a case of you're really going to need to be a top 10 team to attract the bigger players and keep the bigger players around there. And once we can do that, we can then hopefully push for a Champions League win. At the minute, we've got great players. They are very young, though. When you look at the average age of the squad, we've got tons of teenagers. And then most of the players are 22 and under. A couple of 25-year-olds, a couple of 26-year-olds. And then, like I say, the 30-pluses, we've got Yang and Biwa. These two are off at the end of the season. So we don't have a ton of experience. Got a lot of kids with a lot of potential. But I think it's more about we need to wait until that potential is realised. So maybe 2 or 3 years, when they start hitting their early 20s, mid-20s for these guys, that's when we could maybe look to really push and dominate in Europe. But in the meantime even, we, getting through to the group stages, hopefully last 16, maybe quarterfinals. That's as good as we can hope for. I like our chances against anyone at home. We did draw 1-1 with Chelsea at home, but we should have won that. We had a lot of chances. Again, Velijic with a 6.3, missed a load of really good chances. When you look at the match analysis, the amount of shots we had, 20 shots we'd had. 20 shots. Only 5 of those were on target. So a few block shots, but we just weren't converting our chances that game. We could have won 2-3-1. And if we win 2 or 3-1, it's a very different game in the second leg. The reason we lost 4-0 is because we had to come out and attack and go for it, because we knew that it had to be a score draw at least for us to get through. And Chelsea just picked us off on the break. Absolutely battered us. So, I think I like our chances against anyone at home. It's just those away legs that we struggle against. Maybe we need to figure out a more solid away tactic against the bigger sides. It's just tough to do when domestically we dominate. When domestically we are running away with 100-plus points in the season. Sorry, it's secondary phase, isn't it? So 105 points over the season, plus 110 goal difference. We scored 128 goals, and we only conceded 18. So it's fairly obvious that the domestic thing isn't that much of a challenge, which is why I always try and set up friendlies. Like the pre-season friendlies, I always try and play tougher sides. In the mid-season friendlies as well, Cruzeiro, Palmeiras, River Plate, Midtjylland, these were the toughest sides that I could play against, and we were still dominating them. The issue is then when we come up against teams like Marseille, Chelsea, we're just completely untested, and we don't have a way of testing the tactic against those kind of sides. Hopefully, if we can improve our reputation, bigger sides will want to play us in friendlies, and then we can start testing things out that way. But so like I say, as far as going forward, I don't really know the best way to do it. We can't sign players that are going to significantly increase the quality of our team. So we kind of just need to wait until these really good youngsters turn into very good mid-20s players, which is just a waiting game. And unfortunately, we might not be able to keep hold of them that long, because I think some of these players, especially players like Patane, Adzic, Boyanju's always wanted, David Nyarko, these kind of players are always attracting interest from big sides. Nyarko is wanted by Milan, Barcelona, Real Madrid. You can, just from the quality of the teams that want this, so Man City, Monaco, Arsenal, West Ham, like these players are wanted by big sides. Who wants Adzic? Monaco, Dortmund, Leipzig. It might be a case of we lose 1 or 2 of these. Sorry, losing my voice. We lose 1 or 2 of these good players. What we need to do is make sure that we've got players in the reserves that can step up, and at least one of so for example, if Adzic goes or Patane goes, then that means Jeremic steps up and becomes a first choice player and hopefully fulfills his potential. And then we just need to make sure we've got a player in the reserves. So at the minute we've got Dragoslav Jevic or Mahrez or Milorad Ellis in the reserves that they can then come up and be the third, fourth choice striker up front. But it's just about having that conveyor belt of players, I think. But we don't need to sell. I don't think I'll be having the board accept any bids for us. Not whilst we've got 85 million in the bank. But anyway, it'll be a little while until we do the next video, I think, because I need to get through pre-season. It's going to be a pretty busy pre-season. it is going to be all streamed, so do make sure you join the Twitch channel for that. I stream most evenings. Most of the time it's Football Manager. Make sure you follow on the Twitch channel, though. You will be notified when I go live. But yeah, see you then. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I know it's been quite a long episode, this. Apologies for waffling on, but I always like having a look back at the season. You can really read a lot into... Well, obviously, we've had a really good season, but you can read a lot into how it's going to go going forward, especially with some of the quality players that we've got coming through at the minute as well. So, yeah, apologies for waffling on a little bit. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you've not enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below and let me know why. I will see you all next time. Don't forget to get involved with the monthly giveaway. Don't forget to get involved with the Discord. Don't forget to follow on Twitter. I'll get it out there eventually. Don't forget to follow on Twitter. And also, don't forget to get involved with the WeStream FM community. All the links are below the video. Make sure you go click on those, follow, subscribe, yada yada. I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys. Thank you.